Hey, good afternoon and a very warm welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining the second part of our three-part webinar series around enterprise monitoring. My name is Avash Maharaj, and I'm the head of infrastructure at Blue Turtle. For today's session, we'll be looking at the common issues experienced from a performance degradation perspective in relation to digital workspaces. Some of you on the call may have already experienced some of the issues we'll be discussing today, and for those that haven't, we hope that this session will be of value to highlight these and possible mitigations. With that, I'm going to hand over to my esteemed colleague Vijay to lead the session. Vijay, over to you.
Thank you, Avish. Hope you're able to hear me clearly.
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Thank you, everyone who have joined this particular webinar session. And in this session, we are going to talk about the issues that we face in digital workspaces, and then how EG can assist you in resolving those type of issues. So when it comes to monitoring digital workspaces, so the important questions that comes up are why exactly there is a slowness in the user performance, and why is the user experience lagging, and when a user opens up an application, why it's slow, or which application is getting more CPU or more memory usage for the particular user. These are the common questions that comes up when you work on this digital workspaces from Citrix to Horizon to AVD. To look at that, EG comes up with a couple of approaches. One approach is what we call it a synthetic approach, and the other approach is what we call it as a real user methodology. So when it comes to synthetic approach, what we do is that we go ahead and use something called the logon simulator. So this particular logon simulator then simulates a user logging on to the digital workspace infra, and then it simulates how they log on to a particular environment. In this particular case, we have a Citrix infra where we are going to simulate a user called EG user in a particular URL. And then once we go ahead and give this metrics out, this particular simulator will go ahead and simulate and then find out like what really happens when the user logs on to the Citrix infra over here. And then we'll be able to get this particular dashboard in which we'll be able to see which application the user has been simulated upon, what is the whether it's application on the desktop, and then what is the time it took for the particular simulation. So over here we see that the web logon time has taken around 23.21 seconds, and then the application launch time has taken around 94 seconds. And when you go and click on this detailed diagnosis tab, then we also get a pictorial representation of where exactly the slowness that has happened for this particular single simulation here. And we see the breakup of it. So where exactly is the client processing? Where exactly is the storefront web URL access? What is the time it took for the authentication? What is the time it took for the enumeration? What is the time it took for the HTX session establishment? And finally, what is the time it took for the application or a desktop launch complete? And what is the total time of this total simulation? And this particular Citrix logon simulator can be used as a proactive monitoring. So when I say proactive monitoring, this particular simulation will be running every 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on customers' infra and their request. And so what happens is that this will be running 24/7. So when a Citrix logon simulator runs 24/7, so for example, if there is an issue that happens around 6 a.m. in the morning, and before regular business users login, the storefront web URL is blocked or is stopped working, then you get an alert on your email, on or your WhatsApp, on or your SMS stating that there is an issue. The logon simulator is unable to log in to storefront URL. You get a critical alert with a screenshot, by which you can quickly go ahead and resolve that issue so that the regular business users can go ahead and log in without any impact on it. And the Citrix logon simulator is also used as a benchmark tool for your infra. Let's say your infra is going live in a couple of months and you want to test this logon, you want to test how is the particular infra is working on. So the Citrix logon simulator can go and you can go and run the Citrix logon simulator from different endpoints, and then you'll be able to find out like how much time it took for a particular user to log in, how much time it took for the authentication time, how much time it takes for the enumeration, how much time it takes for the HTX session establishment and the application launch. So EG uses a couple of methodologies, as I mentioned before. One is the synthetic monitoring, and the other one is the real user monitoring. So in synthetic monitoring, we've mainly focused on logon simulation. So EG not only has logon simulator for Citrix, it also has for VMware Horizon as well as for AVD. And we can use this logon simulator, and then we can use it as a proactive tool for monitoring your Citrix infra. And moving on from the logon simulation, what we go and find out is that not just the proactive monitoring, not just the logon simulation helps us in looking at the overall infra. We need to combine both the proactive monitoring of the logon simulation and the real user monitoring that we do for all the users who logged into infra. So we combine both of them and then give you a view in a single pane of glass where you'll be able to have a 360-degree view into what is really happening in your digital workspaces. And when I talk about a real user monitoring, we talk about a user logging into an infra, and then we can go and find out like why exactly this user has taken a long time to log in, what is really going on in this session, which application is consuming more CPU, which application is causing issues in the user experience. So we'll all be able to do that, and we'll all be able to find out more metrics regarding that using this real user monitoring. And not only that, we also have some auto baselining. That means that we have thresholds out of the box that are set by industry standards, so that as soon as we go and deploy the application, you will start getting alerts in your infra. So stating that if there is a CPU performance high on a particular user session, then as soon as you go and deploy EG on that desktop or XenApp server or an VDI, then you get an alert stating that this user has a high CPU, or this user has taken a long time to log into the infra. And then we got a breakup of their login time as well. So EG not only uses the proactive monitoring, but also it has thresholds that comes out of the box by which it can go and set you alarms and alerts as soon as we go and deploy this particular EG application. And then and this is a case study of what really happened before an implementation of EG and after an implementation of EG. So when we go ahead and look at it, before the implementation of EG and after the implementation of EG, there is a downtime duration. There is a reduction in the downtime duration, that is the MTTR. There has been a reduction by 30%. And then there is a reduction in the outage and frequency cost by around 46% per annum. And then there is also a reduction by IT support costs, because in EG application, you don't need to, have a certification or look at the metrics. You can just look at the metrics and then you can find out like where exactly this issue, because we also have a layer model in which we go ahead and give you a layered approach where we have different layers. An OSI layer model, it's based on the OSI layer model, in which we have an application layer, we have the operating system layer, and then these are all out of the box. Like you don't have to configure anything. Everything is out of the box. You just need to add the component. Once the component is added, this layer model comes into effect. And using this layer model, we have all the tests attached to each layers. So the monitoring user who's using the EG enterprise can just open up the layer and then find out the test and then find out where exactly is the issue. So you don't have to have an IT certification to look at the issues that is happening in EG. Anyone can go and have a look at the EG enterprise and then find out where exactly is the issue. And that's how it reduces the IT support cost as well. And then also EG has out-of-the-box reports. So we have like extensive out-of-the-box reports. And one of the reports that I'm going to talk today is also the capacity planning and the capacity prediction reports. With these reports, we'll be able to go and help improve user density. For example, if there is only 100 users per server, after we go and deploy EG on this infra, we found out that that server can go and accommodate another 20 users, so that it also reduces or improves the load of the user density, as well as increases the efficiency of the servers as well. And then EG is easy to deploy. So the deployment time is also reduced by around 20% over here. And then overall, EG helps us to improve the user experience as soon as we go and, that is the impact of EG in a particular case study that we have. And when we look at the monitoring of digital workspaces, we always talk about the users that are currently logged in and what is really happening into that user. So, for example, the main question that we look at it, why exactly is the user logging in slowly? Why, why it takes so much time for the user to log into one particular infra? To help with that, we have something called logon details for user. So this is just a screenshot from one of the users that we are monitoring in our demo infra, in which we see that there is a user called Keith, and he has logged into the Citrix infra, and it has taken a very long time for him to log in. So what we do over here is that we go and give you a complete pie chart of where exactly is the slowness. So over here, we see that there is a slowness of around like 48.53 seconds from the delivery controller, and there is a slowness of session startup time is around 41.41 seconds. And we also go ahead and give a breakup of where exactly is the slowness is, whether it's from server startup time or whether it's from the client startup duration. And not only that, we also go ahead and give you a breakup between the server side startup duration as well as the client side startup duration over here. And in the server side startup duration, we see that the group policy processing has taken more time to get associated with the user. And there is a magnifying glass as well. So once I go ahead and select that magnifying glass, then what happens is that we go and have a list of group policies that has taken more time to get optimized with a particular user, associate with this particular user, so that once we go and give this information to the admin, then what happens is that then that admin can go and optimize these group policies so that this group policy doesn't take so much time to associate with an user, and thereby reducing the time for the user to log on to a particular session. So this particular type of information can help reduce the login time of a user logging into a digital workspace infra. And not only that, we also go out and understand user behavior. Why I say is that we have some extensive reporting in which we go out and get top users who are using this particular infra. For example, who are the top users based on their activity, based on the resource consumptions. So by that, you'll also be able to understand or find out the user who are consuming more resources, and also which users are active most of the time, and how many connections. So you'll be able to go out and find out with the extensive reporting that we have. And then we also have this particular user experience dashboard. And in this dashboard, we will go ahead and list out all the users who are currently logged onto the infra. So this gives you an overview into what is currently happening with the users that you have in your environment that you're currently logged in. So we go ahead and list out all the users and which host or VDA they have logged in, what is the logon time, and how much time it took for the session to start up, what is their HTX latency time, what is the network latency, how is the connection quality, what is the CPU time in the session. That means what is the CPU performance in the sessions, what is the memory usage sessions, input, output reads, writes. So we give you plenty of metrics in this particular dashboard. And once you go ahead and look at this particular user, so for example, if there is a user called Moscat, you have a high CPU. And if you want to go ahead and look at further on this, you can just click on it, drill down further, then you have a separate user dashboard for a particular separate user, in which you'll be able to find out why exactly the CPU is high for this user. So we also go and give you this is out of the box dashboard. You don't have to build this. Once you start adding these digital workspaces, this dashboard appears, and you'll be able to see all the users who are currently logged on to this digital workspaces. And this is same for Zen app, this is same for the VMware Horizon, as well as for the APD. And with that, we also have something called an EG patented service topology. So what exactly is the EG patented service topology? So to find out where exactly the bottlenecks are there in your infra, so you have seen where exactly the issues in the user end. Now you have an issue in your infrastructure. How you can go ahead and look at it? So EG presents you with this EG patented service topology in which we go ahead and monitor a particular service. So service is something like something that performs a group of applications that performs as a service. So for example, you have an HR portal, you have an e-commerce website, you have a VDA service. So which performs that contains a lot of applications. So for example, this is an Econex service that we have, and it has many applications from the NetScalers to the storefront to the delivery controllers to the Active Directory servers and app servers, VDI, storage, and Microsoft SQL database. So all these applications combine to perform a particular service, which is called an Econex service. So EG can go ahead and monitor this particular service with the patented topology that we have. And this particular service topology can be automatically configured as well as manually configured as well. And then we also have something called autocorrelation. So what this autocorrelation does is that it correlates between different alerts that we have on our infra and then tell us which is the most important alerts that you need to be focused on. So in EG, each alert are color coded. So yellow is for minor alert, amber is for major alert, and red means critical alert, and green means all is okay. So over here, we see that there is a critical alert on one of your VMware vSphere ESXi. So when I go and select that, or when I go and click on it, then it will go and push me to a different window or a different screen, which gives me this virtual topology map. So this virtual topology map is something that is part of this service topology. So with this, just a single click, you'll be able to go and find what are the applications that are being hosted in this VMware vSphere ESXi, and then you'll be able to go and visualize all the applications that are hosted over here. And if I go and drill down further on it, then I get into this layer model. I see that there are around 8 or 7 VMs that are being hosted on this ESXi, so that we can go and drill down from the service topology to the actual VMs that are being hosted on this ESXi server. And then when I go and drill down further, I see there is a critical alert on one of the servers, which is called BDC Core 02. And when I go drill down further on it, then we find out where exactly is the issue that is causing this causing the issue in this whole service. And I see that there is a critical alert on the processor. So we see that the virtual CPU utilization is around 99.29%. So when we go and drill down further on it, then I see that there is a particular application, a backup process, which is called samba.exe, which is consuming most of the issues or most of the performance of the CPU in this particular VDI. So because of that, we are having an overall issue in this infrastructure. So what we can do is that once we go and give this info to an admin or an infrastructure manager, then they can go and send the information to the corrective teams. Then that team can go and stop the samba.exe, the backup process, or they can go and reschedule at a different time so that it doesn't affect the regular business hours. So EG not only can go and give you information regarding the user experience side, but also in the infrastructure point of view when it monitors, you can go and find out root cause of a particular issue in the service by drilling deep down and then finding out where exactly is the issue. So VEG can also has this capabilities and feature to find out the root cause of a particular issue. And also, when it comes to digital workspaces, so EG also has some extensive reporting out of the box. So we have some extensive reporting from service SLA type reports to comparison reports to analytical reports to server performance reports, and then also have domain specific reports. In domain specific reports, we have what is the user reports, in which you will be able to go and find out the top users who have logged in, and there is a slow logon report where you'll be able to go and find out which users have logged on slowly. And then we also have applications report in which you'll be able to find out how many applications are launched and what is the resource consumption of those applications. So EG also has these reports out of the box. So you don't have to go and build these reports. So you just have to select the application component and then timeline, like how much time you want to run this report for, just 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or 1 week, 2 weeks. And once you go and run it, then you will get that report. And then you can go and save this report as a PDF or CSV format, or you can schedule these reports weekly, daily, monthly as well, so that the admins can go and get these reports, and then they can go and look at it and then find out like if there is any changes that needs to be sent, or if there is any users who are who are having always a slow performance logging to the Citrix infra or digital workspaces. So you'll be able to go and find out this information using this extensive reporting EG has. And not only that, EG also has something called a capacity prediction and capacity planning reports. So once you go and enable this, once you go and run these reports, what happens is that you'll be able to go and find out whether the capacity that you're using is the correct capacity, or the users that you have are lesser with respect to the resources that you have in the server. So these reports will help you go and improve the efficiency of the servers that you have. And as well as you can also go and do some prediction as well. So for example, if I go and increase the demand, what happens, how many servers that I need. So we also have these type of capacity prediction reports as well, where you can go and just slide the slider, demand to high, 100%, 20%, 30%, 200%, 300%, then how much servers that you need, how much CPU that you need. So you can also do this prediction with EG's out-of-the-box reporting that we have. And finally, when it comes to digital workspaces or Citrix user experience, so EG is able to go and answer all the questions that you have. So why exactly is whether the authentication was successful on the storefront? So it monitors the full scale of all the digital workspace applications from Citrix, VMware Horizon, and then to AVD. So if there is a slowness, so if there is a profile loading slow or GPU session establishment is slow, so we'll be able to go and find that out. And also if there is an application or desktop launch, whether there is a launch was successful, does it take a long time? So VG is able to go and find out as well. And then finally, when the application is trying to access, what happens, whether the application is slower or is the application faster. So EG is able to go for each step in when the user logs in, from the authentication on the storefront to the log on, and then the application launch, and then when they access the application. When a user uses a digital workspaces, and what EG covers all the steps that we have in a digital workspace, by which you'll be able to go and answer the most important questions that you get, or the issues that you get when you monitor the digital workspaces. With that, we have come to the end of the webinar. So any questions?
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining again. We have recorded the session, so we'll share that after probably in this week. Yeah, and if there's any questions or any queries that come up after, I just saw a couple of questions pop up now. There was a general question. Where did it go? There. If you would like to move into the application monitoring space or environment, do I need a formal certification? If so, which? Okay, Marabini, we'll respond to that offline. We'll come back to you. But I think that's it for the question. So let's close up, and yeah, we will share the recording, and thank you for attending. Thanks, everyone.